when you hit those high-level guys, they're all very skillful. Some are better at certain aspects of fighting than others, but it seems like the ones who can win the way Pettis and Dos Anjos went down, the way Dos Anjos just dominated Pettis.
Right.
You have to have a fucking insane gas tank.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram and seen some of the videos.
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
you did?
yeah. I'm fascinated by it.
So, yeah, Rafael, when he first came to me, this was after the Cerrone fight. He'd tried several other strength and conditioning coaches. And after he came to me about 2 or 3 workouts in, he's like, wow, this is already amazing. I feel the difference. And that's when I began to assess like a long-term plan. So like when I first get a new athlete, I don't just look at the immediate fight. I look where I want him to be about a year from now, 6 months from now, and 3 or 4 fights from now, whatever. But I kind of knew like some things that were holding him back and areas that weren't trained properly that we needed to rectify.
What do you see when you start working out with a guy? Like how do you
first of all
analyze it?
You know what I'd like to do? Like this is something that the Marinoviches did with BJ Penn was first thing they did was they got a heart rate monitor on him. So and then they put him through sparring to find out what areas taxed him the most, and then that's what they would kind of design the camp towards. So, if wrestling taxes you the most, then that's the energy system we need to train the most for you. So, like with BJ, he never had any problem with his long-term aerobic. It was always his anaerobic energy systems.
So it was always sprinting. It was always
exactly.
the big bursts.
Yeah, short bursts and long bursts. Exactly, the entire amount.
The issue is the recovery from short bursts?
Absolutely. And yeah, exactly. So if your anaerobic systems aren't trained properly, you won't get that recovery in between the bursts.
And some guys will go their entire career without ever correcting that, and you're always going to be in this weird limbo state where you're scared to push it too hard.
Right. Exactly.
Now, you take a guy like Rafael Dos Anjos that had beaten Donald Cerrone, so when he came to you, he was already world class, one of the best fighters in the division.
I think he was ranked 10th when I started with him. So he's a good fighter. And that time we began training for the Rustam. He was scheduled to fight Rustam
Khabib.
Exactly. And we did pretty much a full training camp. We did 6 weeks of training. And then Khabib pulled out, I think 2 weeks prior to the fight with a hurt finger or something. And so then we had a break for about 3 weeks in between, and then he got the news that he's going to fight Khabib. So he did another full training camp. And prior to the Khabib fight, I actually left 4 weeks before the fight. So we stopped strength and conditioning 4 weeks. So he missed the complete peak training phase of the conditioning program. And
do you think that's one of the reasons why he lost that fight?
Partially, yeah. I feel a little bit of a responsibility for that, sure. But
also, you have to admit, Khabib Nurmagomedov is a fucking monster.
He is.
He's a monster.
He's a good fighter. I think, and I hate to make excuses, but I think if people understood like what Rafael went through before that fight, they would be a little more accepting of the fact that he might kick Khabib's ass the next time they fight. A lot of people are already saying Khabib's the new champion. Rafael almost had his freaking eye gouged out. The whites of his eyes, like this was during the training camp, so he had to take another couple weeks off in the middle of the training camp. The whites of his eyes were literally hanging down from guys' fingernails where they're sparring, the guy poked his fingernails into his eyes, and the whites of the eyes were strips of it were hanging down below his eyelid.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then...
So what'd they do to fix that?
I guess they just trimmed it off and just let it... Yeah, just trimmed it off and then let it... Yeah.
Wait a minute. You could trim the whites of your eyelid?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Rafael's a monster. Like, people don't understand.
Is it because the guy had fingernails?
He had fingernails, exactly. And they're sparring, and he went to push him back or something, and 2 fingers went right into his eye. And
Jesus Christ.
So obviously he's not going to put that out there on the internet and show people, hey, look at my fucked up eye.
He should.
Yeah,
That'd be wild
he should.
to look at.
Well, now have you seen his ear? I don't know if you saw the picture of his ear.
Is this recent?
No, this was the same thing leading up to the Khabib fight. Prior to that, his ear was ripped off in the cage. So his ear got stuck in between a couple of the links on the cage.
I have seen that picture.
And his ear was hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Jesus Christ.
So this is all going on during training camp.
Wow.
One thing after the other. And then I leave 4 weeks out. Not to mention he switched to a vegan diet.
What?
Yeah, for that fight.
Why did he do that?
I have no idea.
Who told him to do that?
I have no idea.
Do you